All right. Do, do, do. All right, just getting set up here. Do. All right, everything's. You can hear it. Okay, so this is pretty much the year in review for 2020. I'm pretty much gonna do some boring stuff, go over my previous videos for the year. Then I'm just gonna go over some interesting articles that I found interesting throughout the year, or some topics that I found interesting throughout the year, and we'll talk about that. Alright, let's check out the year in review for Space River News. Alright, guys. We started in January. I'm looking here at my old videos, as you can see from my YouTube page. I'm looking here, the first story that happened in January 2nd, 2020 was a 4.9 earthquake and a 5.8 earthquake January 2nd and 6th in Puerto Rico. So we started the year off with a bang back in the day. Let's see, we got tornadoes on January 8th, earthquake and tornadoes on January 11th, airplane dumps fuel on kids at school on January 14th. Then I covered fracking in Puerto Rico. And then, of course, in January 17th, 2020, I covered the new virus coming from China, Taiwan, and Japan. The CDC to screen at 3 U.S. airports for signs of a new virus from China. Oh, what could this virus be, right? So I covered that in January 17th, 2020. It wasn't even called coronavirus back then. It had no name. So it was just a mysterious virus that was going around in China. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cover it. And from then on, we were blessed or cursed, as you could say, with this news of coronavirus. But I covered that in January 17th. Alright, then after that, in January 19th, gun rights rally coming soon to Virginia. Alright, let's go to the next page. Alright, so all the way to the bottom. January 21st, we had Seattle, Washington, first case of the coronavirus. I covered this in January 21st, 2020. First case of the Wuhan coronavirus in the U.S. confirmed. Washington CDC confirms first case of the Wuhan coronavirus. And then January 23rd, coronavirus, World Health Organization hasn't called a global emergency yet. Then it was my birthday. Then a 7.3 in Jamaica on January 28th. And then Trump imposes travel restrictions, mandatory quarantines over coronavirus in January 31st. The first coronavirus patient released February 4th. Then we have coronavirus leads Royal Caribbean to bar Chinese and Hong Kong cruises February 7th. And then another disease, the Lassa fever, on February 8th. Asteroid passing by Earth on February 12th. I had covered possibility of 200 people in Georgia with coronavirus on February 12th. Then I covered a 7.0 earthquake in Russia, February 13th. Then it was Happy Valentine's Day. Then a 5.7 in Turkey on February 23rd. Trump administration asked for $2.5 billion to fight for coronavirus on February 24th. Then I covered a mini moon possibly orbiting the Earth on February 27th. And then Georgia had 2 new cases of coronavirus on March 2nd. Tornadoes in Tennessee happened on March 3rd. A 5.8 earthquake, California, and shipping containers not coming in on March 9th. Then I made a video called Earth is Closed on March 14th. It says President Trump says he has been tested. New York reported its first virus-related death, and a cruise ship exposed to the virus is heading to France. That was on March 14th. And then the 15 million people missing in China. on March 20th, 2020. This story was interesting because the 15 million people missing in China was pretty much the records of people who usually have a phone. Records, they vanished. Like 15 million people, poof, gone. No more active phones. People were being sealed into their apartments. So it was an interesting March indeed. Then we had a token of 5 in the Tennessee Valley on March 24th. Then we had a 7.8 earthquake in Russia on March 25th. Then we had a token of 6 in Illinois. Then meteor strikes occur Nigeria on March 31st. Then we had a 6.6 earthquake in Idaho on March 31st. Alright, let's go to the next page. I know this isn't that fabulous in graphics wise, but I'm just covering what I covered throughout the year. Alright, so on April 8th, we have enhanced chance of hail and tornado happening. Then on 4 asteroids on Easter Sunday, that happened April 11th. Then a 6.6 earthquake hit Japan on April 18th. Then storms wreak havoc over the weekend on April 20th. Then I covered a planet vanished on April 21st. Then tornadoes taking place tonight, be safe, April 22nd. Then, of course, we were talking about tropical depression 1E in the Pacific as April ramped up the hurricane season. April 26th, it says, next tornadoes possible on Tuesday, April 28th. Then aliens exist and Tom DeLonge trending on April 28th, 2020. I'm going to cover more into the alien topic later. But the next video I made was Don't Go Chasing UFOs, April 29th, 2020. Then Kim Jong-un was having mysterious issues with him possibly being sick. Kim Jong-un scar on his arm. Kim Jong-un resurfaces on state media with mysterious mark on wrist. Kim Jong-un returns and North Korea instability fears fade away. So I was starting to cover the Kim Jong-un mystery of him possibly being dead or possibly not. Then I covered on May 3rd, Direcco forecast models and New Mexico shutdown. Then on May 6th, a 6.8 earthquake in Indonesia. Then mysterious COVID deaths and murders that were happening in Russia and China. On May 7th, then cold coming in northeast Mother's Day weekend on May 8th. Then I covered rats infecting humans with hepatitis in Hong Kong on May 9th. Then could a storm be developing in the Gulf on May 9th? Hurricane season could start early, May 12th. Then disturbance 1 with 40% cyclone formation on May 14th. Then 57,000 crew members stuck on cruise ships still on May 14th. Then a 6.5 earthquake in Nevada on May 15th. 2 asteroids on Monday and on Tuesday on May 18th. And asteroids to pass by the Earth on Thursday on May 19th. Then the Edenville Dam broke in Michigan. That happened May 19th. I covered it, I think this was the most views I've ever gotten in a video. It was 11,023. The Edenville dam story breaking. Yeah, also stranded cruise ship members still trapped at sea and other news on May 20th. Then NASA discovers evidence of a parallel universe, May 20th. We had the giant hail in Texas on May 23rd. Alright, let's go to the next page. Then May 23rd, weakening magnetic field of the planet. That happened May 23rd. Then Happy Memorial Day. Then storms possible June 7th. Then gas prices on the rise again on May 26th. Then more rain. Then possible SpaceX launch delay on May 26th. Then Amanda heading towards the Gulf on June 1st. Then Disney World reopening and other news on June 2nd. Tropical Storm Cristobal on June 2nd. George Floyd Memorial Services on June 2nd, and the Black Lives Matter that happened around June 2nd. Then Cristobal and 6.9 earthquake in Chile, June 3rd. Then a 5.5 earthquake in California, June 3rd. Then fuel leak Arctic Circle on June 5th. Alright. Then Cristobal update. Cristobal heading for the US now on June 6th. Then Cristobal affecting the shores and coming into land soon on June 7th. Then Fireball, Earthquakes, oh my, covered that on June 8th. Let's see, the asteroid unnoticed on June 11th. Wildfire season starting on June 12th. A 6.6 earthquake on Naze, Japan on June 13th. Flooding and food shortages on June 13, 2020. Mosquito and ticks that were genetically modified and were okay to be released in the US on June 15th. And then we were pondering end of the world next week on June 15th. Alternate reading of Mayan calendar suggests the end of the world is next week. Should the Pentagon fear China's new weapon and tropical cyclone? So, we've been through a lot of end of the world scenarios since December 12th, and also before that, because of the Y2K and all this stuff, the possibility of end of the world scenarios, and we're still here. So I always take end of the world scenarios with a grain of salt, but I do cover them just in case anything happens. Alright, next, let's go down to June 16th. Bombs dropped in North Korea and Baghdad on June 16th. Then chaotic energies in the news on June 16th. Disturbance 2 in the Atlantic on June 16th. And then a 7.4 earthquake in New Zealand June 18th. Then the possibility of an EMP attack by China June 18th, as the government had warned that there was a possibility of an EMP attack. So I covered that. There was Saharan dust and Father's Day, June 19th. Then the Avocado of Doom on June 20th. It was like a weather. I found that funny, the shape of the weather covered on the map. Then more rain from North Carolina, June 20th. The disturbance in the Atlantic, June 22nd. Asteroid, June 24th. Then locust in Argentina on June 22nd. Then a 7.4 earthquake Mexico tsunami threat June 23rd. Then senators looking for UFO information from the government on June 23rd. Unprecedented public report on UFOs requested from the Senate into committee. Senators with the public to see the government UFO reports. So as the year progressed, they were slowly declassifying a lot of stuff. They were doing research on the possibility of UFOs. Also, a 6.1 earthquake in California on June 24th. Alright, then salad recall and other news on June 25th. Weather outlook, then a 6.4, a 5.0 and a 4.7 earthquake in China, June 25th. A 5.3 earthquake in Puerto Rico, June 28th. Then locals threaten Argentina and Brazil, June 30th. There were a couple of times during the year the locusts were, just heading out there, and in South America, also in Africa. But, the locusts did make a debut this year. Alright, then a 5.1 earthquake in Puerto Rico and a 5.4 earthquake on July 3rd. Then banks running out of coins. Everybody was like, oh my goodness. And they put in the stores these signs that the banks are running out of coins on July 4th. Thankfully that has calmed down and they're still accepting cash and coins. But, pretty much interesting part of, thinking throughout, thinking back. people just thinking the possibility of money not being able to be used anymore. People were freaking out because of the coronavirus. So it was a lot to consider and think about. Also, the possibility of banks running out of money and people having to, think about storing food and what they were gonna do with money. It was an interesting summer. Then California records highest coronavirus cases on July 7th. Then 9-year-old girl dies by lightning strike in Georgia, July 7th. Then 98L could turn into Faye on July 8th. Let's go to the next page. Then Palm Beach to open online only schools, July 9th. Yeah, my child still hasn't gone to school yet. She goes to online school, but pretty much the kids this year, depending on where you've been in the district or in the region, in the country, a lot of kids still haven't gone back to school because of the coronavirus. All right, next Tropical Storm Faye, July 9th. And then Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly moved from cell to cell to avoid assassins and coronavirus. July 12th, 2020, moved from cell to cell. Then California shut down again on July 13th. Then I had a dream of a large earthquake happening on July 15th. Then Nick Cannon fired on July 15th. The National Guard transporting COVID patients to isolation facility on July 16th. Then a 7.3 earthquake in Papua New Guinea on July 16th. Then churches burning in France and weird stuff happening in Portland on July 18th. Low with 20% chance of development on July 19th. Asteroids and disturbances on July 20th. Then more locusts. Locusts heading towards the US and Mexico possibly on July 21st. Then an active Atlantic and Pacific, July 21st. Then a 7.4 earthquake Alaska tsunami happened on July 22nd. There was a 6.1 aftershock. Then Tropical Storm Gonzalo on July 22nd. Then a 6.3 earthquake in China on July 22nd. Then Hurricane Douglas on July 22nd. Tropical Depression 8 and Hannah forms in the Gulf on July 23rd. Then Russian satellite weapons. UK say Russia fired a satellite weapon in space and US surpasses 4 million cases of COVID. Canada court rules US not safe for asylum seekers. So pretty much that happened on July 24th. So we were going through a lot during the summer. We were covering hurricanes, we were covering earthquakes, we were covering the COVID happening, then Canada shutting its borders, then the possibility of Russian satellite weapons. It was an interesting summer. Then July 24th, we had disclosure and possible celestial war. No longer in the shadows, July 24th. Then banks running out of cash, on July 24th. Then storms Hannah and Douglas on July 24th. Alright, let's go to the next page. Then we have August 3rd, we have Tropical Storm Isaias to strengthen again. Then on August 5th, seems so far away. August 5th, we have the Beirut blast that happened. Death toll rises and rescues continue after killing 5 across. So a lot of damage happened with that Beirut explosion that happened on August 5th. That seems like so long ago. Alright, also a plane split into two in India on August 7th. Then a 5.1 earthquake happened in Sparta, North Carolina. Then a Chicago derecho happened August 10th. Then asteroid happening, or possible asteroid happening on September 1st, and I was warning about it because people were freaking out about the possibility of an asteroid happening either in November when the president could possibly be elected or something. So I was pretty much just covering and trying to calm people down about the asteroid. Then active Pacific and Atlantic on August 12th. Then New York City dealing with power outages on August 12th. Then we covered the China tick disease on August 12th. And then Americans might not be allowed re-entry into the country without the possibility of being tested for the COVID on August 12th. Then Josephine and disturbance in the Atlantic on August 14th. Then fire NATO. Pyrocumulus vortex of a fire tornado happening on August 15th in California. And then, sadly, President Trump's brother passed away on August 15th. Then we have active all over the place hurricane season starting to ramp up on August 16th. And then the Pentagon to create a UFO task force on August 16th. I had that dream, God is male and should be respected on August 17th. Then the Air Force One drone incident happened on August 17th. That was a possible drone that was spotted near Air Force One was covered. Then the 6.9 Philippines earthquake happened on August 17th. And then I was making a video about surprise, not really knew this was coming, about the COVID vaccines coming for everybody. Then what's happening in the tropics, August 18th. Then close flyby by asteroid on August 19th. Then more than 360 wildfires in California happened in August 19th. Then two systems in the Atlantic. That's August 20th, when two possible storms are going to be heading for the Gulf. It says two systems in the Atlantic going to be bringing a lot of rain and possible strong winds, and prepare for hurricanes. That's August 20th. Then Steve Bannon arrested by the post office, on August 20th. Then Russian astronaut captures UFOs. A UFO video or footage captured by Russian cosmonaut sent for analysis. So I covered that on August 20th. Then Hurricane Marco and Laura on August 23rd. Then more asteroid watches. Then Marco making landfall in Florida on August 24th. And then Kim Jong-un in a coma, on August 24th. And we were speculating if Kim Jong-un's sister was gonna take over and what was happening there. There was a whole mystery since Korea kind of keeps everything under wraps and doesn't divulge much of what's happening in the country. Then a 6.0 earthquake in Costa Rica on August 24th. Then Hurricane Laura, August 25th. Then, sadly, celebrity deaths. Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman, dead at 43 on August 29th. And also twin and stunt double Leslie Hamilton died as well on August 29th. Then some more news. Then a 7.0 earthquake in Chile, September 1st. Then an active Atlantic on September 1st. Then, are you getting a brain chip? You get a brain chip. We all get a brain chip. PETA slams Elon Musk for implanting a brain device in a pig on September 1st. Then we started covering the man on jetpack flies by planes on September 2nd. That is the first time we started covering the man on a jetpack by LAX in California. We recently were having reports of a jetpack or a man on a jetpack flying by airports recently. And then solar flare heading towards Earth on the 4th of the 5th, September 2nd. Then bears invading stores in California, September 2nd. Then missing soldiers happening in Fort Hood on September 3rd. Then apocalyptic dream from Pastor Dana Coverstone, September 4th. Then DHS issues an EMP warning, September 5th. A lot of issues from the government talking about the possibility of storing food, needing to store food for at least 6 months. Also, the government warned the possibility of EMPs happening, possibly happening. Yeah, the government has been giving out warnings for people to be prepared just in case to have at least 6 months worth of food and to be prepared just in case of an EMP, possibly from either China or another country. So, yeah. Then asteroids and snow, September 6th. I guess that's the earliest the snow I reported on. Then a couple of maps on September 6th. Then fires in California, polio causing vaccine in Africa, and flooding in China, September 6th. Then here's the video I was talking about, calming down about the November asteroid on September 6th. Because some people I heard were talking about the possibility that an asteroid was going to come right around election time and that it was just going to devastate everything. And it turned out that the asteroid was only about the size of a fridge and it was no danger to us. And then Paulette and Renee in the Atlantic, September 7th. Then Greeley, Colorado, Reteamers page on Facebook showing that Greeley, Colorado skies look like today. That was when the skies were looking from the fires so hideous. The skies they looked like doomsday. A lot of people were feeling like it was doomsday. September 7th. Then power outages, fire and ice, September 7th. Yellowstone swarm of earthquakes happened September 11th. Then Tropical Storm 19th on September 11th. Then a 6.1 earthquake in Japan, September 12th. Then peak hurricane season, September 14th. We had so many storms in the Atlantic. It was like, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hurricanes just chilling there, or possibly storms just heading in the Atlantic towards us. We were like, whoa, what's going to happen? Then alien life on Venus, signs of alien life on Venus, unprecedented numbers of possible life on Venus. That article came out on September 14th. Then food banks need of help on September 15th. There were a lot of people were in food bank lines because they needed food and they were running out of food and they needed the help. Also, Australia running out of rice on September 15th. Then I made a video talking about sitting on the porch, and I was trying to tell people to be inspired and to try to stock up on food just in case for an emergency, to have as a backdrop just in case anything happened, to stock up on food and to be prepared with the supplies you need for either hurricane season or for an emergency. Then I covered the next 5 close approaches on September 15th of asteroids passing by the Earth. Alright. Then September 18th, a 6.9 earthquake happened in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Then September 18th, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, sadly. And then Tropical Storm Beta on September 19th. Then a 4.6 earthquake in California, September 19th. Then September 20th, President gets ricin in his mail. That was an interesting story of the president receiving poison in the mail. Then asteroid watch again on September 21st. And then so much happening on September 21st. Monster tidal waves crash on road and sweep away cars in China. 2 asteroids set to cross the Earth's orbit just hours apart. So that was an interesting video. Then space debris forces astronauts into the capsule on ISS on September 22nd. And then we're having the age of lawlessness, question mark. There were so many riots going on September 23rd because of the killing of Breonna Taylor and the Supreme Court happening, and people were just rioting. Then asteroid watch in other news, September 25th. Then no New Year's celebrations in New York City was announced September 25th. Then headline news, Facebook threatens to block news in Australia if regulations are enacted on September 28th. Alright. And then October 15th, we had Vatican holding trials for pedophiles within the Vatican. I did not agree with that because how is the Vatican gonna hold a trial for itself? That should be held by police officers and federal courts for all those abuses that happened. There should not be held trials by themselves. It's like somebody judging themselves, like, oh no, I didn't do anything. So I was really upset about that. That happened October 15th. There, an air leak on the ISS happened October 16th. Then a beheading in Paris happened October 17th. Then October 17th, more earthquake and news. Asteroid watch, October 17th. Then how many people gathered? I made that video about New York City holding a 10,000 person wedding October 18th with COVID happening. And I was like, wow, so many people not paying attention to the rules there. Then Space, the Final Frontier on October 18th. Then Tropical Storm Epsilon, October 19th. Then a 7.4 earthquake or Alaska tsunami warning happened on October 19th. And then the Alaska earthquake tsunami buoys, I covered that. Then a 2-foot wave and from the Alaska tsunami was what happened. And then Russian jets in Alaskan airspace happened October 20th. Then more asteroid watch on October 20th. Then China food shortage. A lot of people don't pay attention to that. China has been having issues with trying to feed their country for a while now. They implemented a rule to eat everything on their plate and be mindful of their food eating. So they've been having issues with food in China. So I covered that on October 21st. Then power outages happening in October 24th. Nearly 1 million people in PG&E customers lose power in Alexandria. Then murder hornet nest destroyed October 24th. Then Tropical Storm Zeta happened October 25th. Then we had the news about water on the moon October 26th. Then curfew in El Paso, Texas, October 26th. Then many counties discouraging trick or treating. So that was around Halloween time. Many states were discouraging the possibility of trick or treating because of COVID. Then unease in the streets. A week before the election, Texas National Guard prepares to deploy troops on cities. Violence tears through West Philly. So that was interesting on October 27th. Then power outages and Zeta. 100 of people without power in California amid wildfire warnings. So that happened October 27th. Then Category 2 Hurricane Zeta, October 28th. Then jets scrambled above Trump rally on October 28th. So we're getting close to the end here. Alright. Then we have Zeta, October 28th. Then people fleeing France. Massive traffic jams across Pans as people flee ahead of second COVID lockdown in France. That happened October 29th. Walmart removing guns and ammo because of possible civil unrest. That happened October 29th. And then a 7.0 earthquake happened in Turkey, Greece, tsunami. That happened October 30th. Then England lockdown October 31st. Then Turkey farmers in limbo because of the setbacks. Thanksgiving plans leave Turkey farmers in limbo. People weren't going to be baking gigantic turkeys anymore because a lot of families were not going to be spending their time traveling to visit. So pretty much the Thanksgiving farmers were affected by it. That happened November 1st. Then what I'm hearing about loo rolls in England happened November 1st. They were starting to use a lot of toilet paper again in England. Then a White House fence and 250 troops happened November 2nd. Non-scalable fence to be built at the White House. White House lockdown. Yep, that happened November 2nd. And then Hurricane Ada, November 3rd. And then radio signals from aliens or from a star happened November 4th. 2 vaccines could be ready by Christmas in the UK. That happened November 5th. And then Biden elected 46th president November 7th. Then giant sunspot on the sun November 8th. Then tropical storm Ada November 9th. Then Pfizer says they have a vaccine that's 90% effective November 9th. Then giant meteor in Sweden November 10th. Then ETA in New York City restrictions happened November 11th. Then Ticketmaster doomed. Ticketmaster just possibly released an announcement saying that only people who have proof they took the COVID-19 vaccine would be allowed to enter their Ticketmaster events. So I titled it Ticketmaster doomed because were they gonna basically have their business shut down because nobody was gonna go and have Ticketmaster from then on, because people are not having forced vaccination, so not everybody's gonna be having vaccinations. Some are allergic, some might not even get it. So who knows? All right, so that happened November 11th. Then veterans, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans on November 11th. Then possible trucker strike on November 13th. Then more shutdowns November 13th. Then a 5.2 earthquake and a 5.5 Nevada earthquake happened November 13th. Then over 100 Secret Service members had COVID on November 14th. Then Hurricane Iota Category 5 on November 16th. Then grocery stores limiting items as the lockdown loomed on November 17th. Then New York City shut down schools November 18th. Then Trump Jr. had COVID November 20th. Then a 6.5 earthquake in Chile. Alright. Now we're getting to the end of November. Woman who took trial vaccine has sores on her feet. I covered that on November 23rd. Then solar flares November 24th. Incredible meteor November 24th. Happy Thanksgiving, guys, happened November 25th. Then North Korea executing people November 29th. Then the biggest solar flare on November 29th. Then snowstorms on the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley November 29th. Then a lunar eclipse November 30th. Then a monolith happened November 30th. The monolith in Romania, the monolith in Utah, I believe. So that's when the monolith started happening. Then a 6.5 earthquake in Argentina and a 6.4 in Russia earthquake on November 30th. Then a 6.3 and a 5.7 Alaska earthquake December 1st. Then China lands a probe on the moon December 1st. Then the Arecibo Observatory collapsed completely December 1st. The 5.2 Nevada earthquake on the 35th. Then over 40 volcanoes, also 200 earthquakes in Nevada, happened on December 2nd. Then a 5.2 downgraded to a 4.7 earthquake happened in Alaska December 2nd. Then I covered the story of laboratory grown meat for sale on December 2nd. They actually announced that that they were going to be releasing laboratory grown meat possibly for sale soon. Then the new mystery metal monolith December 3rd. They were having so many monoliths appear that I started to not cover it anymore unless it was something really interesting. Then the possibility of vaccination cards for people on December 3rd. Then the Christmas star story, which was very popular, on December 3rd. Then super soldiers. China has done human testing to create biologically enhanced super soldiers. That was released on December 5th. Then microwave energy weapon in Cuba, question mark. The possibility of people who worked for the government having Havana syndrome caused by microwave energy, the government study found on December 5th. And then a Philadelphia priest died, and he was on the COVID trials of testing for the vaccine on December 6th. Then decapitation at Fort Bragg, December 6th. And then Giuliani has COVID, question mark, December 6th. Alright. Let's go down to the final page, finally. This is a review of the year of what happened. World Hunger, December 7th. A date which will live in infamy. Also, Roosevelt famously proclaimed Americans on Monday will honor the 79th anniversary of the dropping of the bomb in Japan, I believe. Also, Class C solar flare headed for Earth, December 7th. Then there is a Galactic Federation, December 7th. Galactic Federations of aliens are in contact with the U.S. and Israel governments, claims former official today. So that's Israeli official covered that on December 7th. Then CME hitting the Earth tomorrow happened December 8th. Then fighter jet down. A fighter jet crashed in Michigan in the Upper Peninsula on December 9th. Then Hunter Biden taxes and Facebook sued by 48 states happened on December 9th. Then Asteroid Watch. Then weather rundown from the winter storms happening. Then more super soldiers. France to start research into enhanced soldiers. China is using gene editing to make a military stronger and more powerful. That happened December 9th. Then earthquake and auroras, December 10th. Then a 6.4 New Zealand earthquake and a 6.1 Taiwan earthquake happened December 10th. Then Disney Plus released a lot of stuff on December 11th. Then Heads Up Michigan, a winter storm warning has been issued for mid-Michigan on December 11th. Then the FDA approved the vaccine in the U.S. December 11th. Could people still be infectious? December 12th. Texit, the Texas possible exit of the union happened December 12th. There was a senator or something that was trying to see if he could bring legislation for the possibility of the exit of Texas from the union or the country. So U.S. Treasury hacked happened December 13th. Mount Etna erupting December 14th. Hotel in Scotland to require vaccine happened December 15th. Then the nuclear agency was hacked December 17th. Then a new mystery covered that December 21st. Then Hawaii's volcano erupted December 21st. And then Midnight News. Then Merry Christmas happened December 24th. Then explosion in Tennessee happened December 26th. And then the Christmas Day bomber likely died in the explosion happened today, December 28th. And Salt Lake firefighters rescue a hiker December 28th. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout all the reading of the videos that I covered this year. I've had multiple years covering the news, trying to cover the best I can, whatever important headlines come out. So if you feel like checking out those videos, go ahead and do that. But it's been a doozy of a year trying to get people to prepare for hurricane season, trying to get people to prepare and stay safe in these harsh times with the economy the way it is because of COVID. I pray a lot for people to, get help if they need it. There's plenty of programs out there. If you're trying to cover the rent, or if you're trying to make it through ends meet, there's a lot of programs out there. Look at your state websites and look for grants And also, some states are giving out stimulus checks. Some are small, some are big. So it depends on what state you're in. So look that up on either YouTube or other stimulus news websites, and they help a lot. So pretty much hang on, this year 2020 has been one heck of a doozy. We've gone through so much, not only with COVID and people losing their jobs and people trying so hard to help one another, and also some bad news from other people who have not helped one another. But we're a family, sticking together, trying to survive through this in this country. Um, yeah, so thank you for sticking around and watching my channel. Even though it's not a big channel, I don't really care about that, about it being monetized or not. I care pretty much about sharing the news and helping people if I can. So that's pretty much why I cover the news, is helping others. Alright, let's cover here. Riots in 2020. There were plenty of protests and riots that happened this year. Was 2020 the worst year ever? Here are a few that could be worse. Nevada sets gun record sales amid 2020 pandemic. There were so many guns sold this year just because of fear. People were experiencing so much fear from the uncertainty of what could happen in this country. A lot of people are still fearing. I think January 6th, a lot of people are going to go to Washington and see if they can overturn the election. So please be careful if you're heading over to Washington. Alright, and next, former Israeli space security chief says that extraterrestrials exist. And this was one of the most interesting stories to me that happened this year, was the possibility of alien life existing and the government knowing about it. And I've been hearing this for a long time now. I think many years of people talking about it, looking at other videos of people talking about the possibility that the government already has bases either on Mars or on the moon, and they're working with these extraterrestrials, that the extraterrestrials believe that we're not ready yet for the advanced technology as a society, and I agree with them. I don't believe society is 100% ready. Some people are ready, but not a lot of people. So a lot of people are still focused and in the zone when it comes to the things that happen around them daily. They're not they don't have their mind set to galactic things yet. They don't have their mind open to what possibly could happen in the galaxy and galaxy news. That's why I named this channel Space River News, is because it's not just earthly news that I cover. I cover other stuff, but you gotta dig through my videos and see what interesting stuff I cover. But yeah, let's take a look at this article. It says the Galactic Federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a galactic federation. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not yet ready. Haim Eshed, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry Space Directorate, told Israeli Yedioth newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. A respected professor and retired general, Eshed, said that aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. Eshed said cooperation agreements have been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where their American astronauts and aliens representatives work together. There is an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here, he said. Eshed said that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and has been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to order or prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. And this is an interesting statement, what space and spaceships are. There's multiple dimensions. There's so many in-depth what space could be and what spaceships are. People think, oh, it's just a hunk of metal. No, spaceships could be interdimensional. So you could travel interdimensionally with ships. That means that there's more than just there's more to traveling in space. There's possibility of traveling in many dimensions and in time, from what I've acquired in information and reading all these articles. So there's much more that we have not began to grasp or understand when it comes to interdimensional travel or spaceship and what space is. It says the White House and Israeli officials did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. Sue Go, a spokeswoman for the Pentagon, declined to comment. A spokesperson for NASA said one of the agency's key goals was the search of life in the universe, but that it has yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life. Although we have yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life, NASA is exploring the solar system and beyond to help us answer fundamental questions, including whether we are alone in the universe, the spokesperson said in a statement. So this was one of the most interesting stories that came out of 2020. The possibility of disclosure and what we could uncover. I feel like it's been a slow drip in information. It hasn't been it's been a slow disclosure. It hasn't been like, oh, here's the aliens. Okay, let's go. It's been pretty much slowly feeding information about water on the moon, life on Venus, the possibility of life on other planets, and it's been a slow, very slow disclosure. Alright, let's cover the next story. 20 of the biggest celebrities who died in 2020. We, of course, have Kobe Bryant. Sadly, he passed away. It says the NBA superstar and Oscar-winning producer of the short film Dear Basketball perished in a helicopter crash on January 26th alongside 8 people, including his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. So that was an interesting and sad opening to the year 2020. We had the loss of Kobe. Then we had Kirk Douglas, who passed away. Then we had Max von Sydow. Then we had James Lipton. Then we had Brian Dennehy. Then we had Irfan Khan, a Bollywood star. Then we had Lynn Shelton. Then we had Jerry Stiller, sadly. He passed away. His son Ben Stiller posted about it. Then we had Fred Willard. Then we had Ian Holm, the versatile British actor who died in June at the age of 88. Did everything from Chariots of Fire to Shakespeare. Through mainstream audiences, known Sir Ian Holm best as Bilbo Baggins in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit film trilogies. Sadly, we lost him as well. Then we had Joel Schumacher. Then we had Carl Reiner. Then Ennio Morricone. Then, sadly, Naya Rivera, a 33-year-old Glee star, went missing on July 8th at Lake Piru in California. Officials recovered her body days later. Rivera is survived by her 4-year-old son, who was found asleep and safe on the boat when Rivera had rented. So sadly, she as well passed away this year. Then we had Regis Philbin. Then we had Olivia de Havilland. And sadly, Chadwick Boseman. The entire world mourned the sudden loss of Black Panther star Boseman, who had secretly been fighting colon cancer since 2016. He succumbed to the disease on August 29th at the age of 43. Then we had Diana Rigg. And sadly again, Sean Connery. No Bond was more debonair than Sir Sean Connery, the original actor to take up 007 mantle. The Oscar-winning Scottish icon died October 31st at the age of 90. Then, sadly, we had Alex Trebek. This Ontario-born Jeopardy host battled pancreatic cancer until November, when he died at the age of 80. The answer: who is Alex Trebek? So we had a lot of losses this year. That was just a small number. That's only the top 20 celebrity deaths. We've had a lot of people die because of COVID-19. So prayers out to those families who are suffering, who either lost a father, a mother, sisters. Prayer goes out to you guys. And then we have food shortages. Amid pandemic, Pacific Islands work to offset food shortages. Hunger spikes demands for U.S. food banks. UK braces for possible shortages as France closes border to block new coronavirus strain. Fear of fresh food shortages mount as UK faces isolation. So there has been a lot of food insecurity this year. I covered it in a UN story that the possibility of food insecurity, was happening a lot. So please pray for the people that have food insecurity. There's so many people who need help. And if you have cans in your storage that, you're either going to throw away or aren't, going to be used, think about donating it to food pantries because they could help out people. Oh, we have somebody talking. Mr. Medic Man, crazy year. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. This is the best news scores, moreover CNN, Fox, BBC. What a year. Wasn't all that bad. 2 out of 5. The year was 2 out of 5. Yeah, it wasn't the worst year. We could have had nuclear bombs dropped on us and, us not surviving the year. But thankfully, we survived in a tough year. But, yeah. Alright, so connections going up and down. I don't know, how connection is right now. I just got a warning about connection. But anyways, yeah, it's been a tough year, but we made it through at least this far. Let's pray that we stay safe, and I'll try and keep covering the news the best I can. So this has been a year-end review of Space River News for 2020. Thank you for stopping by. Let me leave a comment here. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, it has been a crazy year. Yep, so that's it for this live stream. I'll see you guys next time. I'll try to make another year in review for 2021. Let's see how that year goes. And thanks for stopping by. God bless you guys. See you next time.